Hi, Shawna Karrasch here with an Ask Shawna answer coming from Colorado. So we're on the road with Ask Shawna. Okay, this question today comes from Holly. And Holly says, hi Shawna, I'm an experienced rider with a not great deal of experience in the handling of horses. I'm looking to get a horse of my own in the near future after getting more experience in horse care, and was wondering if you could do a video on your own main safety tips for horses. I've had a bad experience in trying to get a horse from the field and the rest of the herd chasing after the horse. I wanted to catch and I wanted to catch, and me being stuck in the middle. I've also looked after a horse that's extremely nippy when tacking up, but when using positive reinforcement, he only seemed to get increasingly nippier. These experiences have led me to lose my confidence a little, and I'd love to know how you think I can handle this. Many thanks, Holly. Okay, well, I don't want to see you losing your confidence. That is just not necessary. So we're going to help you I'm going to try and help you get your confidence back. And there's, I think, some of the basic tools in using the positive reinforcement. You get to kind of establish rules, and it becomes a partnership where they want to listen to you. So things will get, you'll start to see more respect coming from your horse. So there's a couple things I would do. With the horse, trying to get the horse in from the field. Now, considering that I think that your horse will be out with other horses that aren't yours, that you're probably not going to train those horses. So what I'd teach your horse to do is do the on-target training. So I'd start with teaching them the clicker and the clicker conditioning. And if you need to find out more about this, I mean, you can visit my website. I have lots of stuff on my blog that can help you get started, or you can contact me about that. But one of the things when you first start doing the bridge conditioning and teaching them about the sound of the clicker or whatever tool you want to use to tell them as your yes signal, the very first thing I establish, and it's really, really important, is I first establish them turning their head away. So what happens is when you go in there, you have food. You go in the stall or their field or wherever they are, and you have food, and they think, well, that's my food. This is how I get food. I go to get this. This is a behavior that's worked for them. They have a strong reinforcement history, so they just think this is how it works. So we need to teach them a new way to do it. We need to give them a better behavior. It's called the differential reinforcement of an incompatible behavior. But basically it means we're teaching them a new behavior to replace that one. They can't do both of them, so they're going to have to make a choice. Do I turn my head away or do I get mouthy? And that is, we're going to make it more reinforcing, a better association, a better reinforcement history with keeping their head turned away. So it's really a simple process. All I do is I use something like a side bucket or something that's small enough that I can cover it with my hand, but yet get in and out of it very readily. If you start fussing with stuff, pretty soon, like fanny packs or stuff, or bum packs if you're in the UK, because we don't say that there. But anyway, so they would, and when you start fussing with it, I find it makes the manners a little bit fuzzy, because by the time you're fussing and getting it out of there, they've drawn their attention back to there. Your attention is here. You just draw more attention to the food source, and that's really not what we want to do. So I would, so I'd recommend doing that, doing the very early bridge conditioning, the very just click, feed, click, feed. It's the Pavlovian conditioning at first, as we give the clicker value, or we give we want it to be the yes signal. So hopefully you understand about that. I could do like a 3-hour tape, but hopefully you understand about the clicker and what it means. It's a yes signal. It's trained through that Pavlovian or classic conditioning. It's very simple, but I maintain that criteria of keeping your head away. And I do that for about 3 to 5 minutes for each session, and I like to do 8 or 9 sessions of that, and that gets them really strong about that. But what also happens in that process, you also start to build a relationship that's a little bit different with your horse, because it's based on the positive reinforcement and you allowing them to make decisions. It really, really changes the way your horse looks at you, and he becomes invested in the training process. So it's really awesome. So next, after you got the clicker down, you did those 8 or 9 sessions, about 3 to 5 minutes each, and it's going to be overtrained, but it's really, really important that you take the time and establish this part. When I come along horses that are still pretty mouthy, I'll find out they went too soon. They didn't kind of stop and just establish this as a way to go. So your nippy horse pretty much probably thought, ooh, if I mouthy or nippy, it'll probably work for me. So if it got worse with the positive reinforcement. And behavior only increases in frequency if it's being reinforced. So for him, if it got worse, something is reinforcing that nipping behavior. So we're going to teach him a new behavior, and that's keep your head forward, keep your head still, or slightly away. So that's that part. Now, Once you've done all that you've got that part solid, then I suggest you go to doing the target training and teaching them to touch their nose to a target. I like to use a handheld target, something that you can take with you. It's light, it's portable, it's easy. I like to use something distinct and different and something that doesn't look like part of their general environment, so it kind of stands out to them and has a meaning. But when you do the target training, you're further reinforcing your relationship together. So then what's going to happen is as you start to go out to the field to get your horse, he's going to be looking for you and excited about you, and when he sees the target, he will come to you. And so what that's going to help with, I mean, and you could teach him a call or something, but pretty much if he sees you and the target coming from further away, he's going to be excited to come and see you. So as you get him coming to you, what's going to happen is you're not going to have to be in the middle of the herd. They're going to come to the gate. Now, I imagine you're still going to have to deal with the horses at the gate because they're all going to be there. So you're going to have to kind of, that one's going to be a little tougher because if they're your horses, I have a protocol. You know, I have things you could do that could work it out. But since they're not your horses, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But one of the things I would do is try to get the horses down further, get your horse on this end. If you can open the gate and get them out, and then reinforce the horses further down once your horse is left, and it'll kind of help them to start to learn about separations. And we can talk about that a little bit more. If you just let me know you have more questions about that, we can sort that part out. But at least your horse is coming to the gate and you're dealing with them at the gate and you're not in the middle of the herd trying to do all this stuff. So I think that those things will help you. There's just, I think the basic manners in teaching him to turn his head away and to be polite is the strongest thing that will really help him to respect you and you guys to kind of be on the same page about things. And I think that will help you a lot. Now, there's all kinds of things that go with handling horses on the ground. So I have lots and lots of safety tips. Go through my blog. I have lots of questions I've answered for people on specifics, you know, because clipping is going to be one thing, or trailer loading is one thing, or feet and picking up feet is another thing, or cross tying, or hosing, or sheath cleaning, you know, all of it is its own little subject. But once you have the positive reinforcement training, the basics down, the clicker and the target, it's going to go so much faster than, I mean, you'll have the tools, you'll have the foundation, and you can now build the correct behavior. And so I'll help you through each and every little part of it. You just keep coming back and letting me know where you are at the next phase of the game. But we can get it so you feel nice and confident because we can create a nice, safe horse in a lot of situations. So just keep in touch, keep those things, don't lose your heart. We'll definitely help you get through it. Honestly, a lot of people have used the positive reinforcement training to get over their fear or to get their heart back or to get more confident with their horses or their horses more confident with them. Anyway, so I hope this helped you out, Holly. I know it's a lot of information and there's so much more I could tell you, but I'm really excited for you looking towards getting your first horse or getting back, not your first horse, but getting back to having a horse. Anyway, so I appreciate you checking in. And if you have more questions, remember, you can keep sending in your questions to Ask Shawna and I'll be happy to answer them. Go to the blog, which is on my website, or you can go to askshawna.com, shawnakarrasch.com, and you should find a tab for the blog, and there's a search bar. Use that. You can find all sorts of things. Anyway, from Colorado, this is Shawna Karrasch. Talk to you next time. Bye.